Hello, we're at Beaver Creek and I'm with Sean Roosen, the founder of the Osisko Group. Sean, good to see you.
Peter, absolutely fantastic to be here in Beaver Creek.
Likewise. Obviously, we're focusing a bit more on Osisko Development today rather than the wider group, but just to kick things off, maybe just give us a little bit of background on the Osisko Group.
Sure, so we founded the Osisko Group back in 2003 with Osisko Mining 1, which had the Canadian Malartic asset, which we developed. It was a discovery. We took it from discovery all the way through to production. We ended up selling it in a hostile takeover launched by Goldcorp, but we ended up selling it for $4.1 billion to Yamana and Agnico, and we created a company called Osisko Gold Royalties, which I'm still the founder and chairman of, and that trades on the NYSE under OR. It's about a $3 billion company, and subject to the accelerator model that we created within that launch of Osisko Royalties. We've created several other companies along the way, of which Osisko Development is the latest one that's coming through the development stage project, if you will.
Good, okay. And just maybe let's touch on Osisko Development as well. Maybe just a really brief overview as to what the main priorities are, because you've got two core assets there, haven't you?
Yes, we have. The central project is the Barkerville Cariboo Gold Project, located in central British Columbia, about an hour and a half south of Prince George. It's a historic mining camp, which is really our MO, is we're brownfield specialists. We went in there in 2016. We've re-drilled the project with about 750,000 meters of drilling, or about close to 2 million feet of drilling. And that's generated a resource and a feasibility that we filed in January, but we think that this is a mining camp. We have over 2,000 square kilometers, or about 500,000 acres of mineral claims there. There's about 50 to 60 different old producers on the property. We're looking at right now an underground ramp development that we're in the final stages of the EA and BC for, and we're hoping to see a construction release in the first half of next year. We produce gold on this site a few times. We have an existing mill at QR and about $260 million worth of existing infrastructure, and we've done about 750,000 meters of drilling for about $300 million worth of drilling on it, and we believe it's a world-class resource that's going to be a mining camp.
Good.
So that one's moving forward quite quickly. The second asset, located in Tintic, Utah, near Eureka, Utah, at about a 45-minute drive east of Provo. There's ourselves operating there on the Tintic Project that we have with Trixie Mine, as well as Ivanhoe Electric, Robert Friedland's company, to the south border of us. He's drilling there as well. We're all both targeting copper gold targets. We're about 42 miles south of Bingham, which is North America's largest copper gold deposit, having produced about 60 million ounces of gold, about 35 million tons of copper, and some 600 million ounces of silver. We're going to start drilling our porphyry target on that project here in the next month or so. It's quite an exciting target. We've spent 13 years trying to acquire this project, so it's been a long one on our list. And one of our advisors, Dick Silito, sort of the godfather of the porphyry model, did a bunch of work and generated this target for us many years ago, and it's taken forever to own it. So we're all pretty excited, and with Ivanhoe in the neighborhood and the Osisko team, I think it should be a very exciting play.
That's actually quite a nice way to actually go onto your capital structure, because obviously porphyry drilling can be expensive. You've got a lot of ramp-ups with operating that you're looking to do. What's the current capital structure? Outstanding cash in the bank, market cap, that sort of stuff.
So we had about $86 million in the bank last quarter, no debt. We have a little bit of development work on the go for some test mining that's going to generate some revenue next year on our Trixie project. We have about 75 million shares outstanding, quite well held. Our royalty company holds 38% of the assets, 38% of the shares. So we're a good group in good financial health, and the market cap of the company is about 300 million Canadian, about 230 U.S. So it's a good entry point to look at it, and certainly if we were to hit a big porphyry system on this project, that would be a game changer for Osisko Development, and certainly for our shareholders. And then the evolution in central BC, we are at the end of the 3.5-year period that we put into the permitting there. And we believe it's the next mine to get permitted in Canada for construction. It'll be a 4,900 ton a day facility, looking at producing somewhere around 180 to 200,000 ounces a year in phase one. And we think that we add significant amount of resources to that, and this becomes a central processing facility. The goal for Osisko Development is do no small thing, as we've done in the past. Canadian Malartic ended up being Canada's largest gold mine, and I think it's still on production right now. It's about 650,000 ounces a year, making it probably fifth or sort of top 10 in the world. So we've been to the big leagues. We've won the Stanley Cup before, for lack of a better Canadian metaphor, and we think that we've got a pretty good shot here at making this into Canada's next big mining camp. Certainly the exploration drilling has been successful. We've drilled down to about 350 meters. We're averaging about 14,000 ounces per meter. And that's, so that's pretty significant. There's very few deposits that I've been on in the world that have done that, and collectively we've drilled out about 80 million ounces as a group. And we've been on 5 world-class discoveries. So we feel like we're in our zone here. It's pretty exciting times for us.
Talk me through the timeline of production for obviously if the permits are supposedly coming through relatively soon, what's next for you to do in terms of ramp up and actually?
So we've permitted a ramp to go underground at the Cariboo Gold Project, a zone called Lohi, and we're going to start that ramp here this fall. The portal's already in, and we're going to be developing that, and we would start production at about 1,500 tons a day once we have that permit, and we would process that through our ore sorter technology and finish it at our existing QR mill, which is a fully functional, fully permitted 1,000 ton a day mill. The bigger mill will be under construction. We're looking for a 4,900 ton a day flotation circuit to be built on site. We've already purchased most of the comminution gear that's sitting in Prince George in storage. So a lot of our big equipment is already on site. We've also purchased 3 road headers and several pieces of underground equipment. So we have about $100 million worth of equipment in hand already to develop the project with, and then we'll continue on. So we're looking at about 24-month mine build.
Okay, 24 months. And how much are you required to raise for extra? Do you require more funds for the remaining capex? Or?
Yeah, the overall project financing is under discussion and negotiation as we speak, subject to permits, of course. So we'll round that out, but the feasibility study calls for phase 1 and 2 to be about 620 million Canadian, or about 400 U.S. We believe that that's well doable on the balance sheet that we have now. With relatively traditional project finance terms. And
you were talking about a smaller ramp up to begin with before you get the mill, right? So what sort of cash returns will you see throughout that period? And I guess does that help?
It's that's going to, we hope to maybe make somewhere between $300 and $500 an ounce on the ASIC. So it's going to be relatively, more what we're trying to do is get the underground development going, get the ore sorter tuned in, do the grade reconciliation with the resource model, and hopefully we'll get a positive reconciliation. It's quite a unique deposit. It's very simple in its metallurgy. It's just pyrite and gold coasted in a bit of what we call a vein corridor. And it has a density separation. The material that has the gold in it has a density of 5. And then the material that's gangue and waste is about 2.5. So we're separating this with an XRF ore sorter made by Steinhardt. So it's relatively low cost. And we think this will be one of the big electric mines. Currently, we've negotiated several deals in BC, including our power line with BC Hydro. We're getting a price between 6 and 7 cents Canadian a kilowatt, or about 4.5 to 5 cents US. So low-cost power, and we've electrified most of the development equipment, and all our haulage equipment will be electrified as well. So we've taken that. We're going to try and make this a poster child for ESG in mining, and essentially in central BC and for Canada, much like the innovations that we introduced when we did Canadian Malartic. Where we're hoping to invoke all the new technologies and make this a very proud mine for everybody in the sector, and hopefully for the ESG investors as well.
Good. What's the long-term strategy here? Obviously, Osisko Development suggests mine builder, but is it similar to the Stanley Cup that you had with Malartic? Is this something that you pass on, or is this something that you want to keep hold of and operate for a prolonged period?
We never tried to sell Canadian Malartic. Goldcorp put us into a hostile. Our goal was to have the down cycle business, which is the royalty business, which is doing very well. We went from $500 million market cap to $3 billion market cap with 1 producing royalty to 21, and over 200 royalties in our portfolio. So we've been pretty good at the royalty business. And then the development business, with what's happened at OSK with the joint venture at Goldfields on the Windfall project, which I think is probably one of the more exceptional projects out there at this point in time. A Quebec-based project with high grade, a reported resource of grade of like 11.2 grams. And then the other projects that are in the pipeline, we continue to grow the mining portfolio. and set the stage to have both a mining division and a royalty division. We're financial on the royalty side, but we're technical on the mining and exploration side. Our goal was to create an organic platform where we could have all these projects move through and take advantage of our core business, which is our ability to understand geology and execute brownfield camp exploration, and go and find the things that everybody missed in the old days, shadow of the head frame strategies. And we've done that pretty well. We also, within Osisko Metals, we have Gaspé Copper, which is a large porphyry copper in eastern Quebec. We also have Pine Point in the Northwest Territories. Through Brunswick Mining, we have a lithium discovery in northern Quebec. So across the platform, we've done that, and we've tried to create a platform that we can host these exploration development companies and share technical services and financial services. We've also been one of the biggest users of Canadian flow-through with over, at our 750,000 meters drilled on our site, and John over at the Windfall site has drilled over 2 million meters. So we've been able to execute big company projects in a more of a traditional junior exploration standpoint. So we fit someplace in the unique side of being able to drive well through the drill bit. And our internal strategy is called SUDS, which stands for Shut Up and Drill Stupid.
Right. Okay. Loads more drilling to do in Canada on the main project. Just want to touch on Utah quickly as well. And I guess it's hard to give guidance officially, but with the feasibility studies that you've obtained from both of your core projects, what could this company look like in the next couple of years once they are online?
Yeah, the destination of the GPS for us is to be a 500,000 ounce a year producer with eyes on a pipeline to get to 1 million ounces a year. Okay. Which we feel that we've, within the known assets, we have the ability to get to somewhere close. Yep. In Utah, the big prize will be if this porphyry drilling hits. It's very sort of that we know there's a porphyry there, and the real question is what is the grade. Kennecott operated this mine from 1930s all the way up to 1995, but never went below the water table, about 1,250 feet. And the porphyry target is somewhere around 1,500 to 2,000 feet. So, that could be a binary change for shareholders. And obviously, big porphyry systems, we would probably look at a partner at that point in time. There's 5 high-grade gold mines on that property that we're exploring right now, and we're putting one into test production here next year. We're going to be taking out an oxide component where we had quite phenomenal resource. We reported, I think it was 218,000 ounces at 28 grams a ton. We're in there now. We're just about probably 10 days from breaking through with the ramp, and we're going to take the whole piece out and probably heat bleach that. And then as we get further into it, do the exploration on the gold stuff, which is above the porphyry target. Those 5 gold mines produced about 3 million ounces during the Kennecott years, and there's also on the western side of the Graben, there were 18 base metal mines. So we've got one there called the Bergen, and we have a couple, about 4 million tons of what looks to be $300 to $500 a ton rock that we're working on as well. So it's a big camp. It's 17,000 acres. It's patented land. It's in Utah, which is a great place to work. So we've stuck to premium tier 1 jurisdictions, and as we like to say, I'm a context player. We like to be in top 10% geology. We look at mining projects like real estate. This is premium lakefront.
Good. It's a good way of looking at it. It sounds like over the next year or two, you're going to have probably more news releases than anyone for the drill bit. It's crazy.
We'll be sticking to our core program of shut up and drill stupid.
Yeah. Good.
Got us here so far. We've been in business for 23 years now. So.
Yeah. No.
With the same name.
Sounds like a good strategy. Sean, thank you for your time.
Thank you very much, Peter.
Cheers.